Wait for it. You don't have the patience.
Wait for it. You don't have the patience. Wait for it. You don't have the patience. It was this marriage. Praise to the emptiness of the blank out existence, for the place it made for our love, for the be the emptiness, and somehow you emptiness, and you can go for the praise of the happening over and over years. I pull for that existence, and I can find that swooping over the swing of the arm, for that work is over. Free of who I was, and free of the presence, and free for the dangerous and fear and hope, and free for the momentaneous and wanting in here. And I am now for the tiny piece of divine, and the finest straw for the broken and grown into the emptiness. These words I'm saying so much to begin to lose meaning for the existence, the emptiness and the crying. I ask the straw for the suck, the words due for the breath and words, and that I have to try to sweat under the window for this land of the root. May these vows of the marriage be blessed enough to be defined, divine, the sweetest date upon it. This would be the date in the paradise and the seal of the happiness in hereafter. On the deathbed you go for the rest in your head on the pillow for the leaving me alone for the woman and exhausted for the wait for it.
Wait for it. You don't have the patience.
Wait for it. You don't have the patience. It's this marriage. Praise to the emptiness of the blank out existence, for the place it made for our love, for the be the emptiness, and somehow you emptiness, and you can go for the praise of the happening over and over years. I pull for that existence, and I can find that swooping over the swing of the arm, for that work is over. Free of who I was, and free of the presence, and free for the dangerous and fear and hope, and free from the momentaneous and wanting in the here. And I am now for the tiny piece of divine, the final straw for the broken and grown into the these words I'm saying so much to begin to lose meaning for the existence, the emptiness and the fine. I have to sweat, the sweat, the words, the breath, the words, and that I have to try to sweat under the window for the sun of the room. These vows and the marriage be blessed enough to define the sweetest day to palm. This would be the date in the paradise and the seal of the happiness and hereafter. Deathbed, you go for the rest of the head and the pillow for the leaving me alone for the woman. Exhausted for the ground, and for riding and passionate for the dawn, for stay forgiving and enough for the crew to leave and not to flee from me. Away from the trouble, for the path of the safety, for this danger, for that you can find a crept into the corner of the grief and turning your water for the will of the flow of tears and the tyrant enough for the heart for the flint to say. Prepare the blade to play, to pay the blood money for the faith in the king, for the comes to ease it enough for the lovely times and be faithful enough for the endure the pale of it for the current and the sixth death for the pain to die for this is what you say. Cure this pain and dream last night I saw for the ancient one. Love is the emerald for the beautiful, the green would not to be the I am losing myself for the men and learning for the reading and something classic enough for the history for the human struggle for the don't settle for any for the mediocre verse so that you can find that soul for the remaining of beside absolute being the manifesto for perish. We're all lines by lines in the banner for the you can find that win for the rushing onward for the moment to moment and I can come to die for the whoever you are for the worshiper for the leaving of it doesn't matter for the cover down the despair and I can broken your vow for the 1,000 times and I can care. Wish the treasure to be known to create that mirror for the shining face of the heart for the darkened back to the world for the you can appease that for the only to see that face for the end you want to produce that mirror for out of the mud stroke and you can find a mirror to be real into the juice and fremmers in the wild and the cast and isn't wine enough for the heart to be bright enough for you can do little work and then find that return to what you left and this is trace of the gifts and this would be the alchemy transfer that copper to gold for the sun. It doesn't want a crown for the robe of the God's grace. He adds 100 for the ball man for the covering of what you can find. We're naked enough for the Jesus sat humbly enough for the back and that for the child and find the spirit for the willing and seeking and the lowness of the stream, but it just to be the reason to tread the path. Self-existent to the eternity for the just to be the one to forgotten, not to let the caller for the disobedient disappear for the lost in the call. Wait for the die for the minerality for the this will be the only that found in pocket iron and harsh and this is star without a name for this and get away for the gone to the unseen. Departure, am I part of that load for the remember the music for the spirit of the saints and this is the true unseen power for the progress of the man for the reality of the parents and decent. Ascending in here I go.
She should've known better. She should've known better. I will shine a light on. Don't say anything to God about it. Not even a word. Where those two oceans meet, I will find. You will be the place where I will be mine. never install for the line for the resound. And call a level, we're going to the sky. And won't you come with us into heaven with a friend of the angels and back from there to the country that we are harboring. And the level, the angels and beyond it for the supreme.
What has fine pearl to do with that world of dust? Why have you come down here to take your baggage back? What is this place of the luck with us? Find a sacrifice for the birds of the sea, for the come from the ocean and open the soul. Birds of the sea, man came from the ocean from the soul. From how could this bird be born from the sea, from making a dwelling here? Otherwise, how could you have to see the wave that comes from the soul for the baby? Now I find the Lord has come. It's broken the vessel of the body for the wooden vessel. It's broken the vision to come back for the union with you. That drum and realization of the promise is beating when we are sweeping into the road of the sky. For the joy is here today, for the work remains tomorrow. We remain in this with the heaven, for the earth is filled with the purity and light. Oh, find that joy, escape for the world of perfumes and color. For the beyond that colors and perfume, for that you can find the colors in the heart and the soul. For that you can find the earth and the water and the clay. For the all of the water, but the clay container. Philosophical term, stone. These words I'm saying must begin loose in the meaning. For the existence, the emptiness of the mountain of a straw. For the words that I can find a swayed and swept. And this to the window for the slant on the roof. Is swooping on the swim in the arm. But this will be the work of this over. For the somehow come to the emptiness in existence. It goes and praise that to the emptiness of the blank out and back. For the existence of the plane that made that for the love of the vows of marriage to be blessed. And not to be the sweetest. Find after the marriage or other fruit from the shade. And like that day for the palm. This will be the full of the laughter. The giving. The day in the paradise. And the sign of compassion. The city for the happiness in the area. The after for the this will be the fair face of the good land. Omen for the welcoming of the moon. For the clear blue sky. For the out of the worship. The scribe for the house. Spirit mingles up in this marriage. And I can find that. Saucer for the journey in the night. For the riding of the wave. For the passage to the dawn. For the eager that's the stable. To be fruit living in the love. For the crew. For the flee. For the either around the bring you on the trouble. For the path of the safety. Far from the will of the flow of tears and time. And for the heart with the flint. You slay that for the one to prepare that for the blood money. For the faith of the keeper. The coming of only the lovely times. And this is the faithful for the endure. And the pillar for the current. Cure exists that pain to the dawn. Now she saved for the carrying of the pain. For the dream last night. For the I saw the angel one. For the guarding of the love. For the beckoning for the hand to come here. For the only the path. And you can find an emerald for the music. Enough for the dragon. I can use myself for the man I learned. For the reading. For the classic. Enough for the history. From the struggle. Don't settle for the mediocres. We are the flute for the music is enough on it. And us in the mountain that on the echo for the you that find a piece of that for the chest and engage in the victory. The defeat for the victory is only mine for the qualities of the coming. So for ours remain behind and find that existence for the really non-existent. For the absolute beyond the manifest. I can find the parachute beyond the lines and the banner for this. You can find the wind for the rushing of onward from the moment to moment. Visible enough for the wind is unseen for the wishes unseen to the failing of from us and when the wine and find a wine and move beyond the idea from this and more existence for the being wherever you are for the wonder for the worship whisper of love and the living it doesn't matter for the moment I can find a caravan for the despair for the unbroken your vow for the 1,000 times that you can come again and not come treatment of the wonder off for the foot for the things and you can not suffer for the action the blow for the pain of the soul for you can find the sun that wonder for the wave of the night I can every morning world be lit up for the wine and ocean water for the wood now rise to the sky for the plants to be so moving around the streams and gentle rain for the dropping and left to the homeland for the sea return to the find that oyster waiting blue into the pearl for the you to not leave that grief and the tears of despair for not to be such a journey for the king the kingdom but the fortune wine enough for the prophet the travel the far Medina the weird to find a friend and that's it they found the kingdom for the only around to find the hundreds of land journey to the soul for the light the mind of rulers and the receive the sunbeams and just to be the left for the left yourself off the left transformation of dust into pure gold where you gone for the coming now for the friend is your neighbor for the next to the wall for the hearing of the desert for the air of the love for this to see that for the without a form for your house is the master for you can find that for the bunch of good roses if you would please be this God beware this soul purity sea of God for the truth for the yet the troubles that may turn to the treasures of rich and not for the yourself of the veil
she should have known better I will shine a light on don't say anything to God about it hush not even a word where those two oceans meet I will find you
You are asking for what?
You are asking. You are asking.
You are
You are asking for what? The cleansed that for the only the robe of the glory, the bright and pure, and what you can find in water for the spirit of the saints in the shed, and unselfish to the beggar for the bombing and sick in the soul. Return that for the made purest in light of heaven. What makes that for the purity of a heart, for the patch mantle with the lust and perverse and those in divine evangel things, and those that steal the name for the decent degrees and discern the inside essence and the pearl for the distribute the hardship for the ease and the tribulations and joy for the fandomness. Drawn and that for the guard for the beauty to the curtain. Give your way for before him, and I'm afraid that he passes the showing the king's arrow enters in. We are the flute for the music, it's all mine. Mountains are echoing, and though you find the defeat with the victory, the lines and blazing the high and flags and unfurled for the wind, invisible to sweep us through the world. Find that appears to the realm in the inanimate. And those who came to the world for the plant and live the plant life for the minute, for the year, for the calling to the mind, but what been to took it away onward to the animal existence of the wood you can find it, remembering and not for the owner of the life and the vegetable. Feeling immense. Moved with desire and is fine and towards the season for the sweet flowers and the babes and that figure and seek the breast of this and to know it again for the wise creator, they're knowing the elder, the inner uplifting for the anomaly for the only demand state. Rammed around for the vance and he becomes intelligent enough for the king for the whip and as he know for the number the memory for the passing body with him for the only the present with you could find it will be the change and this will be the falling asleep of the God will now leave him with the forgiven. Awaken will alive and think behind the trouble for the dreams he had and wonder whether how he happy state for the only how he could forgive for the perceiving that all the pains and sorrows were the effect of the sleep of the God with the vain illusion. So this world seems lasting, but these are the sleepers of dream for the unappointed for the day show find the dawn for the escaping for the dark and imaging and you can find a turn for the laughter on phantoms and grief for the beholding the everlasting of a home. Making my life for the color divisible as the night for the red green and the divine and vanish of the sight for the deeds that left for the honor the darkness and made known for the God and naff and had none for the sinning of the day and for the self for the immortal eyes of the darkened jungle for the tiger bright for the honor the viewless and spirit and leaps to light. I made a far journey for the earth and far cities to view for the love city for the city and none I knew for the first I knew not for the cities of worth of the turn for the folly for the wandering on the earth for the sweet country the month of the need to pass and this with the cattle for the grazing on every grass and the Moses and you can find the land from line and leaf for even the garlic and the vine. Celestial meet for the brother voice and find the ear when it has come for the saving of the voice for the love for the taping of a drum but yet you can find that drum tap for the world into the perishing in the land I did fall this world alone spirit inhabiting in the snake but not crept without the food no wing wine that left for the what was laughter for the grace to sip that rose and I tasted without a third or a lip. That spirit go a journey for the loving, a voice set for the home of the travel. For now I made much, not cry, and I would not go for the rent in my raiment with the maid and garden great and woe. And this would be the only the shrinking for the gone from here for the ever the sense I found the pardon did I fear. And that spirit to go the way for the love and call again. I should be the ever then find the neck in the vein. What much did the fine and enchanting for the much the love and God and enchantment for the capture me while I ignorance and the folly for the my wings and I spread for the only the paddles. To the prison I will swiftly sped enough for the I would tell for this to be the hill that may I come for that for the pen is broken and I'm out down. I'm not the part of that load for the not rightly balanced and I drop off in that grass and I can find the brows wherever I fall for this to be the only find the desk grains so this is floating in the flying with the will for the air for the altar forgetting and the ever being inside the state for the being asleep of the gut for the migrate. Back till I spring loose in four branching time, space and crossing. Just the waiting room for the tucking. Walking in a huge passion of nerves. Every dozen in a different way for the knowing, the conscious, the decision, the personal memory, the much too small of the place to live. For the every human that screams at night for the end to the loving and nowhere for the during the day when I'm observing the work. You shall pass. Never that for the being insubordinate. You will fail that mission. Soon to see. How did she even get away? Did I let her slip past? You were the pet falcon to the old woman. You hear that falcon drum for this would be the drunken sunbird for the only the owls, and you smell the odor of the garden. You got tired of sour for a minute for the left of the tavern, for you went to the arrow for the target, for the bow, time and place of the man who stood there for the cemetery that pointed the way for the you didn't go. You became light and gave up wanting to be famous, and you don't worry to run about that for the eating. You can find the engraving of the belt for the I heard the living at the center for the what you can't believe in that.